Today we're going to do a short, which is the long short, on how to remove a strut. This is on a 2020 Camry. This is almost the same on any Toyota. A strut is a strut. So you start off by removing that 14 millimeter bolt, which holds the brake line and it also holds the wheel speed sensor. And then you come along to the control arm. Once you get that loose, and take a 17 millimeter and take off the control arm. Make sure you put the nut back on the control arm so you won't lose it. And then you're going to come take off the two bolts that's holding the strut. And these bolts are two 22 millimeter bolts. And you also have to actually hold one end with the other end and then the other end with another 22. And first I'm going to come up here and loosen the top, which is a 14 millimeter, because once you want to make sure the top's loose. So once you drop the bottom, leave it hanging a little bit, and you want to keep the bolts on, because if you don't, it's just going to fall on you. See here, I want to take off those two 22 millimeter bolts like so. Just zip, zappity, zip. Yeah, I don't know why I did this as a short, but I was like, you know what, let's do it. Let's just make a long short. Let's defeat the purpose of the word short. And then we come back on the top, and we take our ratchet wrench, and we take those 14 millimeters all the way off, and you're going to see the center of the strut head just drop, the strut top drop. Right now you're going to see it drop, and you're going to come down. You're going to see that I'm actually loosening it. And once I get it loose, I'm actually going to come down here and catch it with my hand. But I can't catch it with my hand now because I'm holding it with the camera, and then the other one's out. And then just put the new one in the same way as you took the old one out. Use the old bolts, I repeat, because the new bolts, I don't even know what size those is. Use the same bolts. Make sure they work first, and 14 millimeter, and twist them on. Then you come back down, make sure everything lines up. You put your two 22 millimeter bolts back on. Now you're going to have to lift the wheel to get that on. So once you lift it and you wiggle it just a little bit, and you get both of those 22 bolts in. Me, I come along and I took a little hammer and I tap, tappity, tap. And after I did the tap, I tapped the bottom a little bit. Right there. And then I put the nuts back on like so, top. Took that, and I put the control arm back on. Took the nut off, put the nut back on. When you do any steps, you just really want to make sure you repeat the steps that it took to put on to take it off. It's the same thing. And you come back and you triple check your work. Always triple check your work. You're putting your 14 millimeter back on. Remember, the sensor was first, then the brake line. There's my old strut. Struts are not a visual thing. Sometimes they are. You can tell if they're bad, if they're leaking oil. But this one, it was more of just a pop when you hit potholes and stuff. And you come here and make sure it's tight, and there you go. That's it. Come back and tighten the top. And like I said, if you keeping the same nuts, you're just using your same tools, because I think the ones that actually came with this aftermarket strut was not 14 millimeters. And I know a lot of people saying, well, why you didn't use Toyota struts? Because I didn't want to. And I wanted to do it fast, because when you're rebuilding a complete strut, it takes a little time. This page 2 hours took about 30 minutes. If you enjoy this content, make sure you hit that like button and sub.